Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's edition of the Risk Safeguard Advantage podcast. I'm John Bielik, your host. And I've come to figure out that you folks like listening to special guests speak more than you do me. And I can't think of anyone more special to join me today than Sinclair's head of risk management, Nathan Daniel. Nathan, say hello.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here today.
It's my pleasure. You know, it's amazing that after all the years we've spent together, the two of us would want to get together and listen to each other talk on camera. But that's what we're going to do today, but it's about important stuff. First, just a reminder, we just concluded National Work Zone Awareness Week. We geared our campaign towards making sure we were educating and keeping construction workers that work in work zones aware. But really, that's a public relations campaign really geared towards all of us out there on the road to try and eliminate distracted driving, because unfortunately work zone fatalities continue to happen, and distracted driving is one of the leading causes of those. So although we want to make sure the construction community stays informed, stays aware, that's really about all of us. So although last week's campaign came to an end, let that be the launch of an everyday campaign. When you are out on the road, please stay aware, stay not distracted, keep your eyes forward and off your phones. That being said, we're going to pivot very quickly to a busy week this week in terms of safety initiatives, compliance initiatives, and a reminder, since we already did a previous podcast about this, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday here in the United States is the International Road Check, with this year's emphasis on hours of service as well as lighting. Make sure your drivers are doing their pre-trip inspections, and also know that there is going to be an enhanced amount of enforcement vehicles out on the road checking your trucks. We want to keep the economy moving. We love that you truckers help us do that. So keep your trucks rolling, keep them stopped from getting taken out of service. On that, I'm going to pivot to two special subjects and why I asked Nathan to join me today. As we've talked about in the past, construction is a large part of who we help here at Sinclair, and there's two very important topics this week. One, National Stand Down to Prevent Falls in Construction, and two, Construction Safety Week, both of which start today. You know, Nathan, when we talk about falls in construction, it unfortunately is the leading cause of death on a construction site, is it not?
It is. Every year it's about 38% of the total fatalities in construction.
Yeah, and according to OSHA and safety professionals like yourself, they would tell you that every single one of these fatalities is preventable. Would you agree?
I concur with that wholeheartedly. Falls are certainly preventable because employers can really identify the exposures before they put their employees in harm's way.
Yeah. And when it comes to working from heights, I don't think there's anybody more qualified than Nathan to talk about height safety, because Nathan, prior to your long tenure here at Sinclair, you were a director of safety for a large roofing company, were you not?
I was. I spent many years working through fall protection with the roofing company. That is correct.
And given your length of tenure here, what would you say has evolved in safety regarding falls since your time out of the field?
Well, I'm always amazed by the evolution of the equipment that is used out in the field, especially in some of the trades that have a difficult time doing falls, because sometimes there are unique situations that come up that the standard equipment that's given to people doesn't really fit that type of application. So I really have been amazed with the way that training has been evolved, in the way that people can get trained, and also the equipment that's out there for people to choose from. It's a very robust environment, and encouraging people to spend more time analyzing that stuff before they just put people out in the exposure.
Well, and I guess that's part of the stand down this week, right? To take a minute, pause, think about the job, think about what you're doing, think about where you're putting your employees, and giving them the resources and the tools to work safely, work properly, and most importantly, at the end of the day, go home, right?
I think the stand down does just that. And it's also a good opportunity where employers and employees can work together to prevent the situation from escalating, and giving the employees an opportunity to give feedback to the employers and develop a method to do that, because oftentimes employees have really good ideas on how to fix some of the problems that are represented or presented out in the field, and so stand down really helps both parties give that opportunity to do that. And so I really do I appreciate the stand down week, and I would encourage employers to use the stand down week to enhance the awareness that's out there in relation to fall protection and the fall prevention.
Correct. And the great thing about all these campaigns now with the internet, there's so much resource and information available to you. OSHA's website has a tremendous amount of resources. They want you to use them. They're free. There's no charge. I encourage you all to go visit the OSHA website regarding fall prevention stand down. And then now moving on to our next subject, which is Construction Safety Week. And I think this year more than ever, safety culture and awareness is going to be so critical because, Nathan, for months now, we've been talking to our clients and to the public about mental health.
Yes.
And although we sometimes have challenges correlating mental health to a predominantly male workforce like construction, and where we're told that it doesn't bother them, ultimately mental health and construction correlates to distraction and injuries. Would you say not?
I would absolutely agree with that. And we've seen that play out, especially during the pandemic, where there are external sources that are driving employees to be distracted while they're trying to complete a job. And those external sources are not only external anymore, they're now coming internal to the job itself, having the virus.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the first subject of today, both the fall campaign and Safety Week start today, as I said. But the subject today for Construction Safety Week, be present, be focused. Mental awareness is critically important for workers to stay safe. Mental distractions can rob a worker of their focus and lead to serious or deadly accidents. We've seen it time and time again where we've talked to clients about how once someone gets used to doing something dangerous, it becomes second nature to them, and therefore they stop understanding what they're doing is inherently dangerous. Nathan, there's a term out there for it. What do you call that?
Oh, where they become so used to their certain environment. We usually call it tunnel vision. And we talk about where people just become so used to that particular thing. They just become complacent. Complacent with their environment and tunnel vision because they're so used to a certain way. They can't get out of their own way to do the job correctly or safely.
Correct. And so now you can imagine this year with everyone having distractions at home, distractions at work, thinking clearly is not necessarily something that we should assume is going to happen. Great opportunity for Safety Week this year to get out in front of your employees, enhance your safety culture. As Nathan knows, I'm not afraid to sign him and his team up to help you with that. So we're going to be putting out some resources and some discussions to aid you in this process. But again, we want your employees to go home safe. We've heard right now from the field, finding good people is one of the hardest things it's ever been. Kind of like the price of lumber, the demand is way up. And so the best thing that we can do is help you and your team stay safe, keep your good employees safe, keep them healthy, keep them working. Because at the end of the day, the industries that we service build America, keep America's economy going. We ourselves are a family business, and we know that's where the employment in the United States comes from. So we're here to help you. International Road Check, stand down to prevent falls in construction, and Construction Safety Week. The last website for that one is constructionsafetyweek.com. I'd encourage you to go on all these websites, check it out. If you have questions, you want to know how we can assist you, we're here. Nathan, I think this has been a tremendous one. We'll do this again. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do to keep
It's my pleasure.
our clients and employees safe. So take care. Have a good week. Stay safe. Be well. Take care.